regular decision, everyone applies. It's like a free-for-all. When senior year starts, I'm telling you, you're not gonna have the energy.
Oh, we knew life would be alright, but who could have known it'd be this good? Oh, Lord.
Okay. If you're watching this video, you're probably in the midst of applying to colleges. Such a not good time in my life. And you're probably writing essays after essays after essays. And I just want to let you know it ends. So this is a little bit of encouragement. This video is just going to be me saying all the 5 things that I wish I knew before applying to colleges to make it easier and better for you. Let's get it. Number 1 is supplementals. I don't know why no one tells you about supplementals. I don't know why, but it was definitely something that I figured out when I went into actual Common App and I had no idea about beforehand. But basically, if you don't know what supplementals are, I hate to break it to you, but you need to know. Supplementals are basically extra essays that each individual college wants you to write for some reason. So colleges decide that there are certain questions that they want to ask you so that they can know, so that they can get to know you and whatnot, right? So if you don't know this, then you're gonna be like, okay, I'll write my college applications in like a month or something, and I finished my personal statement, I finished my activity section. If you did that, round of applause. You go, girl. And you're probably thinking, okay, I'm almost done. Then, if you're like me, you're gonna go into actually like getting ready to like not submit to college, but just like getting ready to like organize all your stuff, and you're gonna see these questions pop up. And you're going to see 250 to 300 words pop up. And you're going to see more than one question pop up. And you might even see a 600-word question pop up. And you're going to realize, oh, I have to write all of these essays in addition to all the stuff I already wrote. And yeah, that is what supplementals are. So basically, this is really important to know because it's the only thing that actually makes college applications take a long time. So just start early. Knock supplementals out of the way, and just be prepared that you're gonna have to write a lot. It helps so much. Okay, number 2. Number 2 is admission cycles. Hopefully you've heard about regular decision, and then hopefully you've heard about EA, which is early action. If you heard about those 2, good, that's great. You're on the right track. But if you haven't heard of ED and REA, then this is where it becomes a little different. So basically, colleges have multiple rounds where they accept people. Regular decision is not the only time you can apply. You can apply by early action. Now you might ask, why would I apply early when I could just take my time and apply regular decision? I'm about to let you know. If you know that you are someone who wants to get Look how big my ears look. Anyways. If you know that you are someone who wants to get into the harder to get into schools, or like the schools with really low percentage acceptance rate and all that stuff, then you're gonna want to shoot your shot as many times as possible, right? First, let me actually explain the admission cycles. There is REA, restrictive early action, EA, early action, ED, early decision, and RD, regular decision. There's also programs like QuestBridge and Posse, which have different deadlines on their own. Those are scholarship programs. So there are many ways to get into college, like many different ways to get into these schools, right? The only thing that's different about all these admission cycles is the deadline. Now, like I was saying, if you know you are someone who wants to get into these harder to get into schools, you want to shoot your shot as much as possible. So you might want to apply early, because if you apply early action and they're like, nah, I don't really know about you, they'll defer you and you get to be considered again. So if they don't accept you in the early round, then they'll defer you and you might get accepted at regular decision, but you don't have to do anything. You already submitted the application and you just get 2 chances instead of 1. So that's amazing, right? Another thing is that if you do get in early action, you're done by Christmas. You're done by Christmas with all the wahala. You're done by Christmas, okay? You know what college you're going into. You can start buying merch. You could start, shopping for your college dorm. Like, you're done by Christmas. Do you know how amazing that is? And then another thing, a third reason why, if you apply earlier, you're showing the college that I really want to go here and I've been knew that I wanted to go here. So that's why I'm working 2 times as hard. And I could do a whole nother video on how to even know what college you want, because it's actually really hard. Like, it's not easy. I don't know how people I had a dream school, my school, but like, it's hard to pick schools. So I can make a video about that. But like I was saying, you're saying you're the school that I want. So most colleges accept more students sometimes from the early group than they do at the regular decision group, because regular decision, everyone applies. It's like a free-for-all. It's insane. Every single person who wants to go to college is applying regular decision. So if you want to just kind of be excluded and put a little bit more spotlight on your application, applying early is something that's really helpful, and that's what I did. Now I'm going to explain REA, which is restrictive early action. Some schools, actually I will read off the schools that have REA. What schools have REA? There's a lot. Oh my gosh. Ooh. I'm just going to read off some. Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Stanford, Georgetown, Notre Dame, UPenn, Columbia, Cornell, Boston, Georgia Tech, University of Chicago, go Chicago. Those schools have restrictive early action. So it's not every school. Honestly, it's not a lot of schools, but some of the schools have restrictive early action. And what that means is if you apply to this school early, you can't apply to any other private school early. Why? Why would they do that? Because it helps for people to not just apply to all the hard to get in schools, and then if they get in, maybe they're holding that seat. They're holding like seats at all these different schools until January. Basically, the colleges do that so that they know that if you're doing restrictive early action for my school, it's because our school is your first choice. So it's kind of risky. It's literally like gambling, but they still allow you to apply to public schools because public schools have a lot of seats to give, but private schools don't. I didn't know this. And I was writing my applications for Stanford and I think one other school, I think it was NYU. And literally when I was done with both applications, I realized I can't even apply until regular decision. Yeah, it's only until regular decision. So you can only apply early to that school, but then after regular decision, you can apply wherever you want. So that's important if you know that you really want to go to a school, but you have to ask yourself, are you willing to risk not being able to apply to other schools early and things like that? It's a risk, but that is what I did when I applied to Stanford. I only applied to Stanford early, and then I applied to like other public schools and safety schools that I had. Now ED stands for early decision. And that is another way of saying if you really want to go to this school and apply early decision, which means that if you apply and you get accepted, then you have to go to that school. There is no regular decision for you. There is nothing else. You're going to that school, period.
Okay? And that's on a period.
Now, for early action, if you apply early action and you get in, now you just have that acceptance letter sitting in your room, and you can still apply to other schools. But with early, y'all, I can't talk today. With early decision, if you apply to that school and you get in, there is no other school that you're applying to. You have to go to that school. I don't know why they do that, but it helps some people. And the only way to get out of an early decision binding contract is if the financial aid is bad. So there is a way to get out of it. Like if you get into that school and then you realize that you literally cannot afford it because the financial aid is so bad, then you can get out of the early decision. But other than that, you're locked in for life and you got to go to that school. These are just all things to know, because if you want to do early action, then if you want to do early action or restrictive early action, then your deadline is not January 1st, 5th. Your deadline is November 1st. And actually, if you want to do restrictive early action for some schools and you want to submit a portfolio, your deadline is even before November 1st. So very important to pay attention and know about what all the deadlines are. ED has a different deadline. REA, like all of them have different deadlines. So you need to know what admission cycle that you want to apply for and what the deadline is, and get on your Zoom. Yeah. Number 3. This is just something that I personally think everyone should know, because I didn't know. But the activity section takes so long. If you want it to be good, it actually takes so long, and it's ridiculous. Like, unless you were writing a resume of everything you've ever done since you were 2 years old and you've updated it every single time you've done something, it's really hard to gather all the stuff that you've done and put it on a form. It's basically like writing a resume, which can be really hard because not only one, you have to gather all the stuff that you've done since, I'd say like freshman year of high school. You have to gather all the stuff you've done since freshman year of high school. You also have to write them. You have to write a little like description about what it is. And you want to make sure that that description is good. And I can make another video about activities sections and all that stuff, because it's kind of, it's not that easy. But you want to write a good description about it. You want to make sure that you're putting the right activities that you should put. So I wish someone told me that activity sections take so long, because I did my activities last and it literally took me longer than some of the essays that I wrote, because it was so hard. And your activity section goes out to every single school. So you want to make sure that it's good so that you never have to do it again and you can just submit it to every school. You also want to make sure that you're not selling yourself short. Like, you probably did hella stuff, so don't have a bad activity section just because you don't have enough time. That's why I'm warning you. Activities take a long time, so make sure you take your time so that you can show off, hype yourself up correctly on your application. Another tip is that college's supplementals repeat. So if you're like a overachiever, then you can actually figure out what supplementals you're going to have to write before Common App opens. And then another tip in this tip is that College App opens August 1st. At least my year, it opens August 1st. But it always opens early. Like, it always opens before you actually start school. So I started school sometime like early September. And if I knew that Common App opened August 1st, I would have had access. I could have made a Common App account and I would have had access to see everything I would have to write a month earlier. And I could have started writing everything I need to write a month earlier. And I would have stressed way less, because listen, when senior year starts, it's crazy. Like, you have applications, homework, homecoming, I don't know, all these things that seniors do on top of applying to colleges, writing essays and all this stuff. It's a lot of work. So you want to get started on college applications as soon as possible. And knowing that Common App opens like around a month, maybe 2 to 3 weeks beforehand, will help you get your head start. And then also knowing that supplementals repeat, technically you could get a head start. You could start writing them sophomore year. If you want to eat the girls up, you could start writing it sophomore year. Like, some schools are known for having the same supplemental every single time. Northwestern asks a question, I think it's 300 words, and it says, it's kind of like, why Northwestern? But you have to do your research. You can't just be like, I like Northwestern because it's purple and white, and those are cute colors, and they look good on me. Something I would definitely write. But if you want it to be a good essay, you could start doing your research early Figure out why Northwestern. Also, you should know why Northwestern if you're applying to Northwestern, but that's another conversation. But figure out why Northwestern, and then you can start writing that essay and you'll already have it done and ready. And then after you have your personal statement, you could submit Northwestern and you'll be done. So that is something that's really helpful. Supplementals repeat. They be asking the same questions, so you can get on your Zoom and start writing early. And then also, even if you don't know what supplementals are going to ask, Common App opens early, so you can start writing a month early in your summer of your junior year. And my last tip for you guys, this is also, all of these things are things that I just recommend. They're all things that I just didn't know, and they're all things that I just think would have been helpful. So my last tip for you guys is to apply hardest to easiest when it comes to schools. Please don't think that, oh, Stanford application has 6 essays. I'll just knock out my easy ones first. I'm telling you, you're not gonna have the energy. Like, it's so much work. And like I said, if you're a senior, I salute you. I love you. I hope you're doing great. And you're doing great, sweetie. Knocking out the hardest application first is so much better than knocking out the easy ones, especially because the harder applications take more out of you. They're going to need more of your energy. They're going to need more of your brain. So you got to make sure that you give the hardest applications everything you got, so that if you turn in the application, right? But as long as you know you gave the application everything you got, then that's all you need to know. Whatever happens, happens, but at least you know that you gave it everything you got. It would suck to apply to all the easier schools and then rush to finish an application for a harder school and then think, oh, maybe if I would have put more effort into this application, I actually would have gotten to the school that I really want to get into. That would suck to think. So a tip that I just think is helpful is to apply to the hardest schools first, give that application everything you got, and then send it and forget it. Because as long as you know that you did everything you could, then whatever they decide on the application part has nothing to do with you, because you did everything that you could. Okay, I know that's right. But set it and forget it, and then take some time, relax, and then start doing the easier applications. And it'll make you so happy to just be done with those schools and know that all I have left are my safety schools, and I can relax a little bit more. Yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. I just got back from class. This is my dorm. Actually, I would give you guys a tour, but it's not really it yet. I'm not good at decorating, I don't think. I mean, I'm good at decorating, but it's not where I want it to be yet. So y'all will get a dorm tour later. But I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, write them down in the comments. I will be answering anything y'all need. I will just try to help as much as possible, because I know how traumatizing the college process can be. So there's going to be more videos like this. And yeah, I hope this helped. I'm going to continue being just a black girl now, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.